124 years ago, 13 loving, caring, thinking, creating, and very committed beings formed Church of the Oaks. This today is our 124th annual meeting. The first meeting was held June 4th, 1901. We have such a history. We don't tell the history often enough, but I need to just remind us to think about those 13 people. They started up, there was a feed store. I was just reading about it the other day, right downtown on the corner. They met in the back room, the storeroom of the feed store for 5 years. In the 5th year, they bought this property. That year, one of their families had redwood trees up in Boonville. And they went up with crosscut saws, their mules and wagons, and they cut down trees, put them back on the wagons, and drove all the way up to Fort Bragg with their mules and wagons and milled. If you'll look at this wood, it's a very special milling. They milled every piece. They had the list. They knew exactly how much to use. And in less than a year, 13 people built this building with no power tools. And at the same time, those were not easy times. Raised their kids, raised their chickens, had their farms, and made their own living, as well as created Church of the Oaks. And there were 13 of them, but they made this building big enough for 185 actually. And the hall, 3 years later, they did the same thing. Boonville, Fort Bragg, all the way back, built it in 1910. They were leaders in this community. They started Church of the Oaks in 1901, built this building in 1907. St. Joseph's built the Catholic Church over on West Cotati Avenue. It's now the Korean Baptist Church. They built that in 1908. In 1909, the Women's Society that was actually created by the women of Church of the Oaks built what is now near Shalom. And in 1910, Church of the Oaks built the hall. So we've got 2 of the 4 oldest buildings in Cotati. Now, I'd like us to think a little bit about the level of commitment that those 13 people had. How many people in this room could take a year off and build a church?
Well, I got the time, not the energy.
How many of us can do that? Well, times are different. Our whole sociological structure is different. But I'd like us all to consider the amount of commitment that created this place. We did a book. There was a lady who headed up what she called the historical committee. And she printed this book out. And it's the history of the first 20 years of Church of the Oaks. It's called Their Own Words. She went through all of the records. When she got this one done, just in time for our 100th anniversary of this building, 2007, she then did one that covered the whole first 100 years to 2001. And that's a book about this thick. There were 2 of them printed. We kept one, and that's just the time they started the museum here in Cotati. We gifted one to the museum. It's down there. Somebody borrowed, I think I knew who, but that person's no longer around, borrowed our copy. It has gone away. So I'm going to ask, and this might be something that we could all pitch in and discuss during our annual meeting today that we borrow that book back from the museum for a few weeks and have some people who are technologically wizard-like to scan it and put it on a file and share that file with a lot of people and make sure there's, what do they call them, flash drives, and then actually print out a couple of copies that we could have, because I think it's really important. I spoke a couple weeks ago about having our stories, our family stories passed down to our children and our grandchildren, how important that heritage is. Well, I think it's just as important that our heritage here at Church of the Oaks be remembered and continued and passed down. And I'm thinking maybe we'll just have a barbecue here this spring and all get together, and Bonnie can tell some stories, Kelly can tell some stories, and we'll have bookprint, and we can actually share the history of this wonderful place we call Church of the Oaks. Just another little thing, just on the other side of the hall, on the far side, right up by that falling down little fence. There's a piece of concrete about this long, about this wide, and about that high. That piece of concrete, as the story was told to me 25 years ago, that was a buggy step. So the ladies wouldn't get their fancy shoes muddy when it was raining and could get out of their buggy and walk up to the church. Little things like that. It just, the work and the commitment and the labor and the love that has been gifted to us. It's something that we should be filled with gratitude for. Filled with gratitude. And so it is.
Good morning. Good morning. This one I'm going to do unscripted. Pat called me up this week to ask me to help with the menu message, and he dropped the topic of gratitude. That's a piece of cake for me. I tend to live on the sunny side of the clouds. Every rain cloud drops the rain that grows the grass, but on the other side, it's rainbows. It's rainbows and as bright as could be, but you know, it's your choice which side you want to live on. 124 years. I have felt incredibly blessed to be a part of this church, this fellowship, this community, in a building. In other parts of my life, I have a theme of being warmed by a fire that I did not build. Other people created this place and gave us this special treasure. When Pat's sharing stories of the special wood, that particular thing is called Boston Rustic. In my family, we've got 3 generations of lumber. And I used to be a lumber truck driver and carrying this pattern from Eureka and Crescent City. For me to sit in these buildings, I appreciate the redwood forests and the people through the years that have brought this to us. We have family roots in Boonville and Anderson Valley. Modern era, my mom had an accident on Highway 20 in a lumber truck, right? Even in modern era, it's a long haul hauling lumber in and out of the same very mills where my mom hauled lumber. I hauled lumber out of the same places that cut this stuff. There's very few places now that hold the jigs that make that. And yet I was blessed when I was a truck driver in my many things to haul this stuff. So that common theme of gratitude and appreciation. I appreciate the forests. I appreciate the wonder of thousands of year-old trees that can stand here 124 years later and still shelter us warm and dry. Gratitude. I've been through some challenges recently, but you know what? All of us have our day, and I prefer not to spend my time in trauma bonding. Some of the lessons that come out. There was a little meme that popped across my computer this morning about gratitude, and it talked about praying. You pray however you want to. We're not the kind of place that tells you how to, okay? We just wish that you do and support you in your way. In praying, a lot of people ask for things. You'll ask for courage. You'll ask for abundance. You'll ask for other things. You'll ask for patience. You'll ask for tolerance, compassion. What Creator generally answers with is opportunities to learn and grow. Okay? Doesn't instantly drop it in your shopping basket that today I'm going to be a patient person. But I'm grateful for the gifts. I'm grateful for the people who give me an opportunity to practice patience, tolerance, compassion, kindness, generosity. Giving is one of those things that multiplies. Opportunities to be charitable. I'm a clutterer, okay? And so when I have an opportunity to be generous, I'm not just blessing you, I'm blessing me with real estate, okay? Honest to God. And because I have been blessed with more than abundance, please don't pray for me to have more stuff, okay? I have plenty, and so opportunities to give. The other opportunities and blessings, I believe that it's a metaphysical law that whatever frequency you're holding in your spirit and your heart, universe says yes. If you're saying, gee, it's rough, this is a rough day, universe says yes, and gives you more of the same. If I'm grateful for what you've given me, if I'm grateful for UCSF, for a concentration of talent and skill and resources, okay, to add another $500,000, $1 million for my ability to move and function. Thank you. I get to practice patience and tolerance at the room where I could not get any rest without earplugs. I am grateful for the people that invented earplugs. Okay. I'm grateful for clearing up my life. I've made some not so good choices in my youth and created difficulties with family and friends. Today, even when I'm struggling and I'm feeling not so very much and not so strong, today I can be that person during the firestorms when somebody's going through their own personal firestorm that they can call to get them out of stuck and guide them in a direction of help, okay? I'm not an expert, I'm just a human, but I got a heart and soul full of a whole lot of resources. I can point you in that direction. And I take those phone calls. So on a day when I'm feeling less than or should have done more or la 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 la, right? All of a sudden I helped somebody who thought I could help them. And so that's a blessing that gives both ways. I have been blessed to be able to be there for the birth of all of my grandchildren. Okay. My kids would tease me and say I'm an old hippie. I could have birthed my children with stadium seating. But I have a thing in my soul that feels like those who are present for the welcoming of another soul into this life are bonded for life. And a child is not just a child of the parents, they're a child of the community, they're a child of the village. And so it has been huge for me to be able to be there to welcome those little beings into this world, every one of them. Huge. I am grateful for the people that push wheelchairs at the airport because I've needed them. And sometimes I have more dollars than others to help them out because they don't get paid very well. So gratitude, you can live on the dark side of the cloud. You can listen for every disaster. You can focus on those things that are tough. But if you hold that frequency in your heart, universe, creator, always says yes to what you've got going on. So if you're focusing and looking for the gift in every opportunity, universe will give you more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. You mentioned something. That we may run way out of time. That this is a kind of a special day. You mentioned your grandchildren. I want to tell you a little story. This is part of my family story. We have a church family story. We all have stories. And see this tie? This is not my coolest tie. I have some very cool ties. I have 250 plus ties. But this is probably the most special. This tie, my mother bought it and gave it to my father on his 24th birthday, which was January 12th, 1948, so that he could wear it that same week to my baptism, so he'd have a new tie. I didn't know this story until my daughter, Shauna, most of you have met or know about. Shauna was born in 1970. When Shauna was born October 30th, my birthday was November 4th, my 23rd birthday. 3 weeks later, I packed up my family in a station wagon and a beat up truck and moved back from Kansas to Ohio because I was a total failure. My dad had to send me his gas credit card so we could make the trip back when they had the Standard Oil credit cards. And I had like $42 in my pocket to go 1,000 miles in the middle of winter in a snowstorm. And so when I got back, we had to live with my folks, which I was very proud of, such a successful young man. And my dad gave me this. He said it was time to pass on. Today's the last time I'll wear this tie. Wednesday, Shauna's son, Troy, my oldest grandson, became a father. First time. Troy Michael Patrick Holland, my great grandson. So this tie needs to, this family story, this history needs to move to Las Vegas in short order. Just thought I'd pass that along. Monday evenings are going to start again on the 5th of February, right?
Yes, first Monday.
Healing Circle, 7 p.m. right here.
Yes.
And talk to us about it. Just
Oh, okay. Well, so for the next bit, until I take a break in the summer, which usually I do, we're going to try every other week, and normally it will be second and fourth Mondays, but we're out of town second Monday in February. So we're doing first Monday, fourth Monday in February. And I'll keep, I have a list if you're interested. It's kind of guided meditations and energy healing in a group setting. Monday evenings at 7 here. So if you're interested, talk to me. I can put you on my list. That's where I send out notes about scheduling.
all right, thank you.
And the newsletter will update the dates every
Yes,
month, so
yes.
that he's talking to the editor. The
Yes.
editor listens.
Okay. Thursday morning, spiritual book study.
No, not this week.
Not this week, next week. Okay. This week, however, maybe today would be a perfect day to hang the sign for our Ring Out Danger, which will be this Friday, the 2nd of February, or this coming Friday, the 2nd of February, 9:35 to 9:40. And we ring out danger. We make that sound to bring attention for the purpose of ending gun violence in our schools and in our society as a whole. So everyone is welcome to come help ring the bell and come in here and meditate or pray or just sit here and contemplate and send your energy to change the consciousness of violence within our society. Let me see. Today is potluck. Our annual meeting should take about an hour for the annual meeting. You're all invited. There's enough food in the house to feed the whole town of Cotati. Any other announcements? I know I'm forgetting something.
Food Bureau's running a little bit short, and the food bank is actually doing a push through the month of February for peanut butter, because it's a very shelf-stable, calorie-dense kind of a food that offers a lot to people. So if we could do our very best and everybody drop in a thing of peanut butter or 2 or 3, it'd be nice to make a phone call to them and have them pick it up.
Thank you.
It's in the social hall.
And we also have a calendar right inside the side door on the hall, where you can sign up and share your abundance to provide beautiful floral beauty for our Sunday services. We got a whole year full of Sundays available for you to sign up at your convenience. Anything else? Taylor, did you have a happy birthday on Tuesday? Well, we're glad you did. Yeah?
Had cupcakes at school.
Whoa, that is great. What? Oh,
She
okay.
had to get a cake from home because you
Okay.
didn't have cake for your birthday, I guess.
All right. Any other announcements? Yes.
American Association of University Women is today sponsoring a free event in Chelsea Park, normalizing safety, gun violence prevention. So if anyone is interested in that, you can see me and I'll give you further information on that. Sorry, it's short notice. That was 2 to 4 today.
Okay, thank you very much. I was going through some historical facts. I meant to talk about this a little later. This town, Cotati, is just a colorful, neat history, chock full of abundance and neat stuff. In 1920, they kind of established the park downtown. What do they call that?
The plaza.
Rue Plaza Park. And back in that day, they actually fenced it because there was a gate, it was never locked, you could go in and out, but there was a family of deer that lived there. And they were tame, people fed them, you could pet them, bring the kids, you could just walk in the park, close the gate, and the deer were there. And they were there for over 20 years. And in the Second World War, when they had meat rationing, sugar rationing, tire rationing, they somehow disappeared and wound up in somebody's kitchen for sure. So it's just, there's a million stories about this community that we're a part of, and we shouldn't let these stories just evaporate. We should carry these on for our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids so that it's all part of who we are. All of our stories create the texture in this fabric that we weave, this tapestry that we create in our lifetime. So, let's stand up and sing Life is for Living, shall we? Number 195, I think, in the Wings of Song.
That's what I'm gonna play.
And now we may greet each other in the traditional Church of the Oaks fashion.
Hi.
I turned the heat off. Nice. That's all right.
We gotta get him back here. We gotta get him going.
That's okay, folks. Takes as long as you want. I get paid by the hour. All right.
Hopefully not with a sentence.
Interesting fact. First of all, gratitude, carrying the flag of gratitude. I would like to thank very much Brenda and,
Sabrina?
no, her, what's, no, you, Jean. I had one of those mind block things. Jean and Brenda, who came here yesterday afternoon and set up for our annual meeting and potluck today, so we didn't have to do it this morning. Thank you. Wow, some things are such a struggle at this time.
Just wait.
We have such abundance. Just look around this room, folks. It just, every one of us brings something so valuable and so precious when we walk in this door. Our energy. And all of it is so valuable to our lives as we share with each other our compassion and our acceptance and our love. Let's read together the affirmation of abundance. May we please? Gratitude is the key to the realization and manifestation of abundance. May we ponder that wisdom, sir. Thank you, Wayne. As we prepare ourselves for a time of meditation, let's sing together, "Be still and know that I am God," verse 69. There's 69 in the wings.
This is the day that universal law has made. Let us rejoice and make good in it. Share the warmth, the glory, the sunlight itself. Let us share the air with 3 deep breaths together. Let us prepare for meditation. Inhaling deeply. Feel the warmth and release. Let your shoulders drop. Get the wiggles out. And breathing in. And a third time into full relaxation. I see the glory in the sunshine in your faces, and I feel it in my heart. Can you find that in your own hearts? The fullness of the energy of history that we share here in this space. The beauty of the wood. The beauty and holiness of this room. The universe tells us, yes, we are here. We are meant to be here. The universe tells us yes to every breath, every morning, every smile. If you would contemplate with me the smiles that we share today and make that your meditation. Let us take a minute to enjoy that. The universe vibrates with abundance
of energy. Feel it to your core. Share it with all life. Let it be so, and so it is.
Joy, thank you very much. What does it say on the order of service? It says you're manifesting gratitude into a we consciousness lifestyle. That's pretty much our purpose, I think. And this is not a new thing. 2 years ago today, our annual meeting 2 years ago, during the meeting, the congregation collectively said, Patrick, why don't you have guest speakers and people to come and tell us and let us know about different opportunities within our community where we might help out or participate on a personal basis so that we can let this gratitude, let our energies, our time, our talent, thought, and treasure build we consciousness. And so we've done that several times. We had COTS come, we had the Council on Aging come, we had Redwood Gospel Mission come. I think there was another one and I can't remember what it is. But recently, a dear friend of mine, Sylvan Eidelman, you know Sylvan, we've all heard him play violin in our band. His wife Julie plays guitar and sings and also has spoken to us here at church. Sylvan was telling me about something he was very involved in and felt passionately about. And as he told me, I thought, well, this is a perfect thing for us to know about. Would you mind coming and telling us about that? He said, I'd be happy to. And I said, we're actually having an annual meeting today, and there would be a perfect time that we could discuss it at the meeting afterwards. And he said, okay. So here he is. And Sylvan Eidelman, tell us about this thing that you do.
You know, it's funny, I don't remember the conversation being like that at all. He was like, would you mind coming and talking to us? And I was like, no, because I'm so inept at getting up in front of people and sending a message. But this is actually talking about something that Julie and I have been supporting for probably 5 or 6 years now, and it's an organization that maybe you've heard of called Food for Thought. And Food for Thought is, it's kind of like a food bank, but it's not the Redwood Empire Food Bank. It cooperates with them, but the mission of Food for Thought is to provide food for critically ill people. And they've been doing it since the AIDS epidemic started in the 80s, and somebody had this idea that food is medicine, and it's actually been a proven fact that food is medicine because I don't have to bore you with all the details of it, but they have, when they provide food for these critically ill people, and some of the illnesses are AIDS, and then there are people who have just gotten out of the hospital, people who have chronic illnesses. They do a wonderful thing for thousands of people in Sonoma County. But what they've found is, like their cholesterol is reduced by 25%, their blood pressure goes down. It's just amazing what happens when you provide healthy food for people. And so they have dietitians that design meals for their critically ill people. It's kind of like a store. It's in Forestville, and it's kind of like a store. Where they have all this organic produce, and people, if they want to, people who are receiving help from them can go in and just kind of go shopping, just like push their cart and pick out things. But they also have a delivery service where they put meals together for people, and then people drive and greet people. They actually meet them and talk to them. So it's sort of, they have a relationship with the people to whom they deliver food, and I think that's also part of the healing process as well. So all in all, it is a pretty terrific organization, and if you're wondering, well, that sounds great, but is there something that I personally could do for them? And so there absolutely is. Like Julie and I have, we are sustaining givers to them, so that's one thing that anybody can become a giver and just donate money. But they need a lot of volunteers because they have these food drives, and maybe you've seen them in front of Oliver's and Cotati, or Whole Foods, or other places around the county where where people just stand out and ask for a donation, and they will hand you, and I do this quite often nowadays, where I'll hand somebody a sheet of paper with a list of food items that this is what we're collecting for this week. And so people, actually, they just go into Oliver's, and they, as part of their shopping list, they add like a box of Cheerios, which is one of the items, or olive oil and all kinds of various things. And from week or from month to month, they might have a different critical need, and that's what they ask for. So that's one thing. You could become one of those people who helps with a food drive. You could be one of the volunteers who delivers food to people. They're always looking for drivers to go and spend some time doing that. And there is one really fun thing that people can do. One of their largest ways that they receive funds is there are various restaurants in Sonoma County who donate. Some of them donate 100% of the proceeds for that night. Some donate 50% or 25%. So people, it's called Dining Out for Life, and that's in December they do Dining Out for Life, and you can just go to a restaurant and purchase a meal, and and the proceeds of that would go to Food for Thought. I don't know if I think that I've covered just about everything. And yes, you have a question?
Yeah, for the drivers, is it all in Forestville?
No,
Okay.
and Dining Out and Food for Thought is based in Forestville. They also have an organic garden where they grow some of the food that they provide to people there. But their population is spread all over Sonoma County, in a lot in Santa Rosa, some in Cotati and Petaluma, and so they're actually exploring finding a place that's more centrally located. Since Forestville is so far over to the west, they're looking for some place that might be more centrally located to make it more efficient for drivers. But they serve about 3,500 people, and they serve thousands of meals, like 30 or 40,000 meals a year to people. So pretty, and they have a lot of volunteers, and they have a small professional staff as well. Any other questions?
Where's the food prepared? Because they're giving them like homemade food, right? Or
Some of it is prepared food, and they prepare it in the kitchen in Forestville.
Or it's bagged food with a recipe, simple recipe too. Have the drivers pick up in Forestville and then go to their people?
That's what happens. Yeah, they go to the store in Forestville and pick up their assignment for that day. And they actually have, if you know, some people, they have people who volunteer in the garden as well. So that's another way that you could serve food for thought if you're interested. And then Patrick, I just remembered you told me that you were considering putting a food bin here for food for thought, and we could give you a list of suggested donations, because they're a little more picky about the food, because of the mission. It's not just like any old cheap macaroni and cheese thing. They want to provide healthy food for people who have a need to eat healthy food. Anybody else?
Hurrah!
I also have some flyers, and with more information here, which we'll leave somewhere.
Right, well, I'll take them over to the annual meeting next
Okay.
door.
Okay.
Sylvan, thank you very much. And here again, it's another way that we can share our time, our talent, our thought, and our treasure that really helps each one of us have a day-to-day we consciousness. Now, we all participate, we all volunteer, we all do stuff, but this is just one more opportunity for us to increase this practice, to expand this practice of developing a we consciousness lifestyle. Now, I need to ask a question. When we have guest speakers, we always give them a little check. It's, what do they call it, a memoriam, or a little thank you check. And if we were to offer that to Sylvan for sharing his stuff, he'd turn it down flat. I know Sylvan, he's like my brother. But I'm gonna make a motion, sorta. Who here would be all for writing a check to Food for Thought for $100 today that he can take with him?
From our treasury.
From our treasury. Everybody okay with that?
I'm totally.
Motion passes, I think. So, Mr. Treasurer, if you'll take care of that, he'll tell you how to make a check out. And thank you all. This is what we are about. We're in business for one reason, and that's to expand our awareness that we might add value, enrich our lives and the lives of the other people in our lives. And just, we don't have to look very far, just look around. There's ways that we can make life better for ourselves and the people in our community. And just like Sabrina was saying, which side of the cloud you want to look at. And we all get funky once in a while. We all get angry. We all get to feel grimy. But we are here to hold each other's hands and support each other. to develop a more we consciousness lifestyle. We got 124 years of commitment backing us up. We got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so it is. Let's imagine what we can do in the next 124 years. May we stand up and sing Imagine. And you're all welcome to potluck. There's a ton of food. Join us for our meeting. It's really very, very interesting.